Now that you mention worst matches, there's a wrestler that comes to mind. A long time ago here in 2KW, as I was Reaper, a wrestler named John Reebok. Let me put it like this: his catchphrase as a wrestler was "Shh, no talking in the Extreme Library." Now, first of all, how can a library be extreme? I just understand. I don't understand it. There's no talking in any library, so how is that extreme? But John Reebok was he marked for The Rock. Mark means he was obsessed. You could say he was obsessed with The Rock, and he wanted to be The Rock as a wrestler. So he had a lot of Rock traits. He had the silk shirt, and I was booked against him. I guess you could say we had about 3 matches, a series of 3 matches. And the first time I beat him, I believe he went over in the match. He beat me. And the second time I fought him, I beat him. And it was a little animosity between us because we didn't know each other, but he was a stiff wrestler also. He was a heavy hitter, so he was a small guy. So why would you try to beat up on a bigger black guy and you're small, tiny, and it just didn't make no sense. And he was trying to force me into certain moves, and like I said, being that big, you're not going to make me do nothing I don't want to do. So he would try to make me take a move, and I didn't want to take it, and it didn't go down. And that's just how the matches would look on camera, which I didn't like. I never wanted to look unprofessional on camera. So the last time we fought, me and John Reebok, it was I can't even remember the match. It was a 6-man tag match. Myself was in the match. Sin was in the match. Drama Saito was in the match. A lot of wrestlers. Jackal, Kid Crazy, John Reebok. It was a lot of wrestlers in the match. And before the match, John Reebok was he was a Puerto Rican kid. So I have nothing against Spanish people. I have nothing against no racists, but I don't like racist jokes. And John Reebok was a kid that liked to make racist jokes. So, and I was also heavy at the time, so he would make fat black jokes, not just black jokes, fat black jokes. So he would like to joke on me, and I was young and sensitive, you could say, but I was a big dude. So if you're gonna joke on a big dude, prepare to get beat up. That's just how it was. So before the match, he was making a bunch of jokes, and I just told him, hey man, you got to calm down with the jokes. I'm giving you a warning. I'm trying to be nice because I wasn't a nice guy back then. So I told him, I'm actually trying to just not beat you up here. I don't want to fight you. Just calm down on the jokes. He comes out during his entrance and he said something to the extent of, fuck you, fat black guy. Something close to that. Just, while the cameras was on, which really got on my nerves. So we went through the match, and a spot called for him to give me a frog splash. And I'm a big dude, so people had the tendency of just landing on me wherever they want because they had a cushion, they had a big pad. So I tell them, hey man, I got asthma. Don't land on me so hard, man. He says, all right, I got you. And he gives me the frog splash, and he pumps, and he just basically comes down with both knees inside my chest. And when he hit me, I just lost it. So I get up, and all I see is I'm looking right at him, and he's shook. The look came over his face. He realized what he had done. And out of nowhere, somebody calls me, hey Reaper, hit him with this. And I look up and there's a kendo stick flying at me. So I catch the kendo stick like a movie, and the light is glowing, and I got soul glow. And I look back down at him on the floor, and the fear just comes over his face. So I just wail on him. Bang, I just start hitting him, wailing on him with the kendo stick. Broke the kendo stick on him, actually. The blood coming from his forehead. So the cameras go off. As somebody got the pin in the match during all this. So 2KW is still professional. We can fight on one side and still continue the match. So the match is over, and after the match, he tries to get a little real with me. He says he wants to do the fisticuffs a little bit. So I say, why not? Let's fight, And I guess he didn't want that reaction. He wanted the Reaper from the beginning. Let's not fight. And when I say let's fight, he gets a little scared. So he ends up running away. I chase him outside the park. On Pleasant Avenue, there was a factory that used to be back there, which stretched from 116th Street to about 125th Street. He ran behind that factory and was never seen again. That was about 6 years ago. We haven't had contact from him since. I don't know if he made it past the factory, if he's still alive. I don't know.
Wasn't his cousin with him?
Yes, his cousin. Now that you bring that up, yes, his cousin was with him. And I remember the reaction of Because people were trying to hold me back, and he was walking off talking his crap or whatever, and walking off with his cousin. And my best friend in the whole wide world, Drama Saito, was pulling me back and whispered in my ears, "Don't worry, man, we're going to take 3 steps and I'm going to let you go. 1, 2, 3. And he let me go, and I ran at him, and both his elbow pads went up in the air, and he just left and ran past his cousin, left his cousin in the park to run to the factory. So by the time I'm come back wheezing from the factory, his cousin is there like, "Hey, don't hit me, man." That was just my cousin, and I don't know if they met back up. I'm about to get on MySpace and try to find that dude, because I hope he's all right.
Speaking of mistakes, wrestlers who might have probably should never have been in 2KW. Any wrestlers past or present that were just complete mistakes, that were either completely untalented or overrated?
I say untalented superstars. Damn, Kid Crazy, he's completely untalented. He was just a waste of a roster space. He was a gimmick that never caught on. He's actually a 2KW veteran. He was here before me, but he still wrestles the way he does when I met him, which was not good. He was never a good wrestler to me when he first came in. He was actually known as Loser Larry. He was known for getting beat up. And if you want my honest opinion, he should go back to that gimmick and get beat up. That's when people paid attention to him, when everybody was stomping him out. At least you had superstars stomping you out. It wasn't like Hazel was stomping you out. You had no name stomping you out. So at least that got you some camera time, at least on the floor. Kid Crazy's untalented. Hazel was untalented, another wrestler that was just pathetic. He shouldn't have been on the 2KW. I don't know if he was officially a member of 2KW, but since he was associated with us, he shouldn't have been, because he was terrible. He was a terrible wrestler. Overrated. As far as overrated, a lot of names pop up to mind. I'm gonna just throw it out there. C4 is a I would say for C4, for a man with that much potential, and you can see that he's gonna be somebody someday. I wouldn't say he blew up too quick, because the fans caught on to the whole boom nigga and all that, which I gave him. That's a shoot. I gave him that catchphrase, boom nigga. So you can sort of say I birthed that career, like many wrestlers in 2KW who I took under the wing. C4 is somebody who could be a great wrestler one day if he had all his chips in the same bag. Like he wants to be world champion. He wants to be on the top, but he's not putting forth the work effort. He just wants to be there just because he's popular, and that's not how it goes, man. That's not how it goes at all.
That reminds me, you mentioned Kid Crazy, who was at one time in the Elite, the 2KW faction known as the Elite, which has had many incarnations over the years. It's the longest running faction in 2KW history, and you are currently a part of that, of the Elite. There's been so many versions of the Elite. What was your favorite incarnation of the Elite ever?
Wow, there has been many incarnations of the Elite. The Elite has been around for about 6 years now. I would say 6 years. I don't know if that guess is right, but 6 years is a long time. Superstars come and go, so a lot of people have been in and outside the Elite. Me and Sin might be the longest reigning members in the Elite as far as different versions that we've been in. But I'd probably say the best version, I have 2 versions. There was the first Elite, the first ever Elite, which was I believe Sin, a wrestler back then called Just Simply Amazing JSA, and Vinnie Mac. Just because it was the first. It was the first. The top names, the 3 top names come together, and they put them all in one group. And they were heels, which is my personal favorite style of wrestle under, which is a heel. So I'll say that.